We place an almost blind trust in our technology. We close our laptops and they sleep. We lock our screens and they stay locked. The files save automatically. Our passwords protect our data. These simple, predictable routines create a powerful sense of security, a feeling that our digital world only acts when we tell it to. It's this very assumption that makes the following story so deeply unsettling. The man at the center of this account worked remotely, like so many of us do now. His laptop wasn't just a tool, it was his office, his connection to the world. He used it every day for emails, reports, and those all-too-common late-night work sessions. He was careful with it, as you'd expect. It was password protected, the auto-lock was enabled, and he never shared access with anyone. He was the sole user. One night, after pushing past his usual bedtime to finish a project, he finally closed the laptop's lid and went to sleep. Nothing felt out of the ordinary. It was just another long day ending. But when he woke up the next morning, something was immediately wrong. The laptop wasn't closed. It was open on his desk, the screen glowing. A document filled the display. His first thought was simple exhaustion. He must have forgotten to shut it down properly. Fatigue can do that, make you forget simple actions. But as he looked closer, a detail pricked at his tired mind. Cursor was blinking patiently at the very bottom of the page. The document wasn't blank, it was filled with text, several pages of it. He began to scroll up, his initial annoyance turning into confusion. This wasn't the jumbled mess of a corrupted file or random keyboard mashing. The text was structured, edit sentences and paragraphs with proper punctuation and grammar. He checked the field's properties. The timestamp showed it had been modified repeatedly between 1:40 a.m. and 4:18 a.m. He had been sound asleep the entire time. Then he started reading the content, and a cold dread began to creep in. It wasn't violent or overtly threatening, in a way that would have been easier to understand. Instead, it was specific, disturbingly specific. It described his personal routines, but not in a way a stalker would. It spoke in patterns. It read, "You always fall asleep faster when the light is on. You wake up briefly around 3. You don't remember the sound, but it wakes you anyway." He snapped the document shut and immediately ran a full security scan on the system. He checked for malware, for viruses, for any sign of remote access. The results came back clean, nothing. He dove into the system logs, checking for scheduled tasks or unauthorized logins. There was only one user history, his own. It was as if the computer itself had decided to keep a diary. At night, he was too unnerved to sleep properly. He stayed up late, watching the laptop from his bed. Just stared at the closed lid, waiting for it to move, for the screen to light up. Nothing happened. Eventually, exhaustion won. But this time, he didn't leave it on his desk. He placed it on a chair across the room before finally going to bed. In the morning, a wave of relief washed over him. The laptop was still closed, exactly where he had left it. He thought maybe it was a what-I'm glitch, a bizarre dream brought on by stress. Then he powered it on, and there it was. A new document. The creation time was 3:12 a.m. His hands felt cold as he reluctantly opened it. This file was much shorter, containing only a single chilling sentence. "You moved it farther away. That doesn't help." His heart pounded in his chest. A logical mind would immediately search for rational explanations. Technology experts would suggest things like sleepwalking, micro-awakenings, or even a dissociative fugue state. These are all real, documented conditions where people can perform incredibly complex actions, like typing while not fully conscious. It's a valid and plausible explanation, and for a moment he clung to that idea. But there was one detail that just didn't fit: the writing style. It was consistent across both documents, a particular rhythm, a detached, observational tone. Later, he tried to replicate it himself, consciously typing in the same style. He couldn't. It felt foreign, unnatural. It wasn't his voice. Determined to find an answer, he set up a camera on a bookshelf aimed directly at his desk and the laptop. That night, he barely slept, waking at the slightest creak in the house. The next morning, he anxiously reviewed the footage. He fast-forwarded through hours of stillness. The video showed nothing, absolutely nothing. The room was empty, the laptop never opened, the keyboard was never touched. Yet, when he checked the computer, the document was there. A new one. This time, the final line made him slam the laptop shut instantly. "You don't wake up when it types." He couldn't take it anymore. He stopped using the laptop at night completely. During the day, it was perfectly normal. No strange files appeared, no odd behavior. It was as if its nocturnal activities had been tied to his own sleep schedule. One weekend, he went to stay at a friend's house for a change of scenery. He left the laptop at home, this time not just closed, but completely powered off and unplugged. When he returned on Sunday evening, his apartment felt still and quiet. He walked into his room and his blood ran cold. The laptop was on. The screen glowed in the dim light, displaying a single line of text. "You came back." That was the final straw. That night, he meticulously backed up his essential files, photos, work documents, anything important onto an external drive. Then he performed a complete system wipe. He reformatted the hard drive, did a fresh installation of the operating system, set up brand new passwords, and enabled the strongest encryption he could find. He scrubbed it clean, and the strange behavior stopped. For a while, months passed. Life returned to normal. He eventually upgraded to a new, more powerful laptop, relegating the old one to a closet. One afternoon, while organizing his old backup files on his new machine, he stumbled across a document name he didn't recognize. It was tucked away in a mislabeled folder. He checked the properties. Created at 3:12 a.m., his finger hovered over the mouse, a familiar dread washing over him. He didn't open it. He deleted the file and then deleted it from the recycle bin. Sleep specialists can explain how our minds, under extreme fatigue and stress, can invent elaborate narratives and even fill in memory gaps. Technology professionals can detail rare edge cases where software and hardware interact in unpredictable, seemingly impossible ways. These are all sound, logical explanations for what he experienced. But the story lingers not because of what was typed, but because of why. Text never tried to scare him with threats. It didn't try to manipulate him. It just observed. It noted his patterns, his habits, the quiet, unconscious rhythms of his life. It waited until he wasn't awake to write them down. Because the most unsettling thought isn't that something was typing while he slept. It's that something noticed when he didn't. Thanks for watching.